Joining me now is Minnesota Democratic Congresswoman Kelly Morrison. Congresswoman, thank you so much for being here, especially given everything that you and your colleagues are dealing with. You were a friend of State Representative Hortman, and I want to start with how you're remembering her and processing things at this moment.
Yeah, she was my beloved colleague, as was Senator Hoffman, for 6 years, the time that I was in the state legislature. Melissa, we lost one of the great ones. Melissa Hortman was just an unusual leader. She was often the smartest person in the room, but you'd never know it because she was so understated and humble. But she was a master legislator, an outstanding negotiator. She had a wicked sense of humor. She was kind. She was a mentor to many, including me. And it's just a tremendous loss for our community and our state. And John Hoffman and his wife Yvette, thank goodness they survived surgery and are hopefully recovering. We're praying for their full recovery. And of course, we also mourn the loss of Melissa's husband, Mark. It's a devastating time in Minnesota.
And then, of course, there is the fact that police described that the suspect had the names of 45 state and local lawmakers, including some home addresses. You've said that you were included on that list. How are you feeling after that information came out today?
Well, it's a scary time, I think, for all legislators. I think especially state legislators we think of as, local leaders who you don't think of violence as being a concern. I spent most of my career as an OBGYN, Ryan, and unfortunately, heightened political rhetoric and violence has occurred against people who provide reproductive health care. So I've been on lists before. There's a part of me that's kind of emboldened. I'm not afraid. But this is a watershed moment for our country. We have to decide right now that this is not acceptable. We cannot normalize this, and we need political leaders from both sides of the aisle to unequivocally call out an end, that this is not acceptable. Political violence is not the way, and we need to tone down the rhetoric. There cannot be any more heightened rhetoric. Social media, elected officials, it's gotten out of control and it's dangerous. And this is what we're facing right now.
We know that you, as a Democratic member, are expected to get a briefing in the very near future. But we already know that Republican lawmakers talked to the House Sergeant-at-Arms and Capitol Police over security concerns and shootings. And some of these lawmakers have told us that the meeting was tense. When you get that opportunity, what questions do you have for these security officials? And have you gotten any assurances in the interim about the way that you can be kept safe, not only at home, but here in Washington?
Well, I have to call out local law enforcement here in Minnesota because they have worked overtime constantly all weekend to track down this assassin and also to protect legislators across the state. I still have a squad car in front of my house right now, and just so much gratitude to all of them. But I think we have to be serious about the reality that we're facing in the United States right now. And I think it is important that legislators are safe. One of the things that we have to remember is this isn't just an attack on legislators. This is an attack on the American people because it compromises their ability to be represented. It compromises the ability of their voices to be heard, and it can have a chilling effect on who's willing to run for office. We want the best, good people to run for office, and we need to make sure that people know they can be safe.
You mentioned about trying to turn the temperature down when it comes to political rhetoric. I mean, how do you do that?
Well, I think it starts from the top. We need the president and leadership in the House and the Senate to unequivocally call for an end to political violence and to call an end for heightened rhetoric that calls for violence. That is just full stop, needs to happen right now. And I think all of us as Americans need to pause and think before we share a tweet or a post. And we need to get back to having conversations with each other. I've been talking about a kindness revolution. I really think we need to be good to each other. We need to take care of each other. This is who most Americans are, and we really need to lean into that in this moment. I think it's incredibly important.
You mentioned that it needs to start at the top. Governor Walz says that he's not heard from President Trump since the shootings. He has condemned the shootings, But I'm sure you saw that the president told ABC News when asked about this situation, he described Walz as being a terrible governor and said that he's a grossly incompetent person. But I may call him. He said he may call other people as well. Is that okay with you? Has President Trump said enough in the aftermath of these shootings? And was it appropriate for him to attack the governor in that way?
Ryan, that is unbelievably disappointing. Campaigns are one thing, but he is the president of the United States, and it is his responsibility to care for every American. And he should set aside any kind of political differences or bad taste from campaigns and care for the people of Minnesota. That's an example of the kind of behavior that needs to stop right now.
Do you get the sense at all that President Trump's interested in turning down the political rhetoric? Does that concern you?
It concerns me a lot. And I would like Republicans who in leadership in state houses across the country, in the United States Senate and House, to call on the leader of their party to change his behavior. Okay. This is the clarion call right now. This is our watershed moment. It's got to stop.
All right, Congresswoman Kelly Morrison, I know you and your colleagues are dealing with so much right now as you deal with the aftermath of this shooting. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.